Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. This week is going to be pretty simple, actually. The main crux of what I have to talk about um, is essentially just recapping what happened to the Grammys. I told you we were doing that.
And then I just didn't care for the Grammys.
I enjoyed them. Out of all the Grammys I've watched, I think these were probably one of the better Grammys.
I don't know the last time I watched them.
The last time I remember watching them was...
Or at least I don't remember any notable performances.
The last performance I remember was Kendrick Lamar. And it was when what was the name of that album? I think like To Pimp a Butterfly, or whatever it was called.
Oh.
That was nominated. And I feel like he performed like 2 or 3 songs, and I felt like it went on forever. And now I'm not I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar, so it was whatever to me. But I also and it's funny because there was complaints on Facebook I saw that there was still too much focus on rap and hip hop at this year's Grammys. And I think the opposite.
Yeah, I don't...
I think that's why I liked these so much, because there was such a mix.
Yeah, because they even had Luke Combs.
Because you had Luke Combs and Tracy Chapman, but then you had Billy Joel with his new song and an old song. You had Joni Mitchell, but then you had SZA, you had Travis Scott.
He was probably like
Dua Lipa opened. She's a bit more pop. You had a better range of music. Not that I don't like hip hop, but I feel like in other years it's been heavy on hip hop and rap, and it's
they're accused
you're the Grammys.
They're accused of not...
Well, that's why they have them perform so much.
Because they don't represent.
Because they're not giving them awards.
Well, they do, but
they're not representing the awards properly. We'll get to that later on, but I think in terms of performers in the past, they've not had a great range of genres, which is a weird thing of you're the Grammys. This isn't like the CMAs. It's not the BET Awards. You're not a very specific thing. You're supposed to encompass all music. And yet for a good stretch of time...
Do people not want to perform at the Grammys?
I think it's people don't want to perform at the Grammys, and I think the reason for so many years that it was very heavy on hip hop is because that is predominantly, I think, the most popular genre of music in the world. In terms of people listening, I think hip hop does tend to be.
But
so they're trying to get a different audience. They're trying to get a younger audience or whatever.
Any rock. Maybe they have in the past. I just don't remember it. I'm sure,
not particularly. They do, but not.
I guess Billy Joel
U2. U2 performed this year. They weren't there.
Are they rock? I guess.
They're
what
a rock
else
band.
would they be? Yeah. What else would they be?
Well,
they don't.
So I kind of have them in order as they were happening. I have some notes up here. Oh, that's what I wanted to... I forgot I have that article pulled up. So this is technically in order of how it happened, because this happened before they went live on TV. Where's the article? Here it is. After winning 3 Grammy Awards, Killer Mike was arrested and taken out of the Grammys in handcuffs.
For what?
Though it was not immediately clear why he was being arrested just before the Grammys broadcast began. The LA Police Department later released details about the misdemeanor charges. In a video uploaded to X by The Hollywood Reporter, Chris Gardner, the Run the Jewels rapper, was seen being escorted through Crypto.com arena by police. The LAPD said on social media that the rapper was taken into custody because of, quote, physical altercation that occurred at the 700 block of Chick Hearn Court. They did not provide details on when the incident happened and what the circumstances were. He was placed under arrest and was transported to LAPD Central Division.
Hold on.
The suspect had been identified as a 48-year-old Michael Render and booked for misdemeanor battery. Render has been released on 0 bail.
What? So it must have. But did he? Which one's the one where you actually lay hands? Assault or battery? I think battery. No, battery is the threat. So he threatened someone. The threat of bodily harm. Assault is actually. I never remember, but one is the threat of bodily harm and one is bodily harm.
Yeah.
So he just did one of them. Not great, but strange that you waited until he was in the Grammys to arrest him.
Strange that you waited until after he won 3 awards.
Unless, like,
swept all the categories he was nominated in.
Unless it was really just unfortunate timing.
And then they arrested him. So he won 3 awards and then was escorted out of the building in handcuffs.
But I mean, like, how much investigation do you need for a misdemeanor battery
Who
charge?
knows?
It had to have happened like right before the Grammys.
Because he's probably on his way to the Grammys.
Gotten an argument, proceeded to go to the Grammys.
Gotten some sort of traffic altercation, not necessarily an accident, but
no, he could have been walking.
He could have been, but
he also could have done it to somebody who was with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
So, first award of the televised night, Miley Cyrus wins Best Pop Vocal Performance from Mariah Carey. Very iconic. Referred to them both as MC, which it took me a second to realize what she was talking about. Well, I didn't really clock Mariah Carey at first, because I don't like her music, but like I'm not super into Mariah Carey as a person.
I don't think anyone.
So I didn't really clock that that's who that, like, it didn't register in my mind that it was Mariah Carey and Miley Cyrus.
Oh, you didn't realize it was Mariah Carey, or you just wasn't?
No, I knew it was Mariah Carey, but when she said, like, this MC's going to stand by this MC or whatever, I didn't really, like...
Oh.
It didn't click immediately of, like, oh, because she's Mariah Carey and you're Miley Cyrus. So that happens. I think it's funny that... So that happened when Angela Bassett lost Best Supporting Actress. Internet immediately blew up and exploded at her reaction to Jamie Lee Curtis winning. How dare she? It's so disrespectful. Because, you can't act disappointed when you lose. You have to still pretend that you're so happy for someone who didn't deserve it. But they very obviously, before they go to commercial, they cut to Taylor Swift, and she's very clearly talking shit. She's got this dumb fan with her. Every other camera shot of her and everyone else in the audience, you can very clearly see their face and their whole mouth, and they're talking. And she is very physically, like, holding the fan in front of her entire face and talking to Jack Antonoff. And I'm like, yeah, because you were nominated and you're pissed that you didn't win.
I mean, is she, though?
Probably.
Probably not.
Probably. She's probably salty about it.
Maybe, but it's not hurting her.
No, it's not, but as I wrote down here later on, that awards are bought, not earned. So it's probably not a matter of I deserve that. It's probably a matter of they should have paid more. She should have swept.
I don't think you pay. I think it's
you pay.
I don't think it's that. I think it's like it's political in a different way. It's all like who knows who and like who's gonna give the Gram. I don't know. It's just I don't know who would benefit.
They're all bought through campaigning. That's what all the for-your consideration shit is for the Emmys and the Oscars. Yes, you
don't do that for the Grammys.
It's very similar. You're not putting out like Taylor Swift Midnights for your consideration. Like, that's not what you're doing, but it's very similar in that aspect of like your studio is campaigning voters of the Music Academy or whatever they are, the Recording Academy, to give the award to their client. Luke Combs was next, and I thought it was hysterical to see him just staring at Tracy Chapman the entire time. Apparently it was a big to-do. I saw an article that said, like, because his team reached out, it wasn't the Grammys that did that. His team reached out to her.
Of course they did.
And apparently it was like a big...
Because the whole reason he recorded that song was because like that was like the first tape or whatever it was that like his dad gave
him. And his dad listened to it a lot. And
So like he didn't cover that song. Like
no, but I
be...
just mean like it wasn't something that like he pitched it out and the Grammys like set it up. It was his team reached out to her, and it was a big deal because she hadn't performed live in
a long
time. So it was a big ask of her to like, hey, do you want to perform at the Grammys?
I didn't see anything about like why she wasn't performing anymore. Like if she just sort of
I don't know,
like stepped away or if something happened.
SZA's performance was after that. I don't know really much of anything about her. I enjoyed it. Performance wasn't bad.
I don't remember it.
Same thing with my next note is that because it was shortly after that Billie Eilish performed, and her music is growing on me.
Just that I only remember that song. I haven't heard anything else. I mean, the first song that came out.
I'm the Bad Guy.
Yeah.
And what was I made for? From Barbie.
Yeah.
Which is the new one.
That's what I'm saying. That song.
Yeah, two of them.
And that for her first one.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, I might know more. I just don't realize.
I've heard a couple of them. I didn't care for I'm the Bad Guy when it came out. I don't know that it's even really grown on. Like that song in particular hasn't really grown on me, but like, and I never disliked her as a person. Like it was never like, oh, your music sucks and you also suck. Like I never really had an opinion on her as a person. From the interviews and stuff I saw, she looked cool. She sounded like her interviews were always like super just I think
she's very like
personable,
normal somehow.
Yes.
Even though like she's got an interesting look, but
her look has evolved over the years into different things.
It's also on purpose. The clothes she wears are like because she doesn't want to be like seen for what her body looks like.
Yeah.
That's why she wears like the big.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I watched, I don't know if it was Variety or who did it. Someone did interviews with her. And they did them over the course of like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was like, they did the first one, and then the second year it was like Billie Eilish, the same interview a year later. And the third video was like Billie Eilish, the same interview 2 years later.
The same questions?
Yeah, it was the exact same interview, question-wise and stuff like that, but it was just 4 years apart. I'm pretty sure they did it 3 or 4 times. But I watched some of those just for like, that was before I even was like listening to her music at all. But I liked the concept of doing that sort of interview because I don't know if they did it with anybody else.
No,
I only got the related ones.
There must have been a reason why she must have really evolved a lot.
I'm sure it was that. I'm sure it was her age because she came out very young.
Yeah.
On the music scene. The next performance, I don't know if there was awards in between here. If there was, I didn't write them down because this is just performance. Because the next one was Miley, and I fucking loved her performance of Flowers.
Yeah, it was good.
I think she killed that. I loved the whole like, don't act like you don't. Why are you acting like you don't know this song?
But it's weird. I wonder if people like weren't singing because people were standing up.
Well, I think it was a matter of like.
Or did she want people to sing along?
Well, I'm wondering if it was people just like kind of standing and dancing. Or even just kind of like sitting and dancing, maybe. Because then when they show the crowd, they're then standing up. But it wasn't until after, they didn't show the crowd till after she said, like.
It was just weird.
Why are you acting like you don't know this song?
They don't show like what the crowd looked like that.
Then she yelled about the fact that she won her first Grammy, and it was just good for her.
And that's just literally through the microphone.
At the very end, yes. It was a mic drop.
Not like in a mean way, but she like launched it.
Then SZA won her award. And my question was, I get that she just performed Grammys. You couldn't have had this woman more prepared to come out on stage.
She looked so overwhelmed.
Because you literally have whatever happens. Trevor Noah comes out, does his joke, and then says, like, in all seriousness, keep your speeches short. We're not trying to go overtime this year or whatever. The next moment is Lizzo comes out. Here are the nominees. The winner is SZA. And then there's just a long pause of like,
awkward.
is she coming out? Is Lizzo going to take the award?
I honestly thought it was like, is she going to refuse to accept?
And then she came running out on stage like, I just got changed and took a shot and came out here. And it's like Grammys.
Maybe they couldn't like rein her in.
Why? Because I get that the whole thing is like, no one knows who won until you open the envelope. Like, bullshit.
Well,
someone backstage knows who won those awards, that you could have either planned her performance differently
or just said like you need to be in the audience for your award.
Well, she didn't have to be in the audience. She could have been backstage still, but like
you have to be ready.
Like you should have had her come out in what she performed in, like. Because like you can't really tell me that no one backstage. You know how chaotic that would be to do an award show where it's like legitimately no one in this building knows who wins this award until the envelope gets open.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Bullshit.
Because it would get leaked. They're not letting that out.
Well, they might not know till the morning of, but like someone knows.
Well, of course someone knows.
That's my point.
The person who made the envelope.
That's my point. Like you could have had a bit more prepared. I think any other part in the show wouldn't have mattered, but it was just hilarious. And
it took a long time, too.
Like, he literally makes the announcement of, like, wrap your speeches up.
Unless they did that on purpose.
Because...
It'd be funny, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's a weird planned moment, but...
Then you have U2's performance, which I want to look up. Because you said they did. I'm curious if they sampled Blondie.
It sounded so much like
I thought so. U2, Atomic City is the name of it. Felt like I had to burp, sorry.
What did you look up?
The band described the track as a musical homage to artists such as Blondie, Giorgio Moroder, and The Clash. So yes, they may not have sampled it, but
borrows liberally from Blondie's Call Me.
Yeah. This Reddit thread is Atomic City, possible
and
plagiarism.
Attempt to rewrite two of the biggest and worst U2 hits of the last 25 years.
Atomic City, possible plagiarism with Blondie's Call Me. I listened in full to this song, and the chorus is just more than a little bit of a direct rip of Call Me by Blondie.
Well, that's from Reddit.
Well, that's what I was trying to see. Well, they're posing it as a question of like, does anyone in this thread actually know?
Well, like no one would really know if they sampled with permission or not.
Well, they could have said, which I think they did, because that's what the Wikipedia thing says. It is a musical homage to.
But that doesn't say they're admitting that like it's the sound. It's like Billy Joel saying like, yeah, some of my song, like one of my songs sounds like.
Yeah, but I think that's the point of them saying that is like, yes, it sounds like "Call Me" by Blondie.
It more than sounds like.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but that's what they're putting out.
It's a very Ice Ice Baby. If he's claiming they don't sample it. Like if he were to come out and say like we did not sample it.
I don't know about like I haven't heard it without vocals. So the instruments and the background could sound different. I only hear it because the way like I don't know what the lyrics are in Atomic City, but it's the same thing as when you listen to Blondie's Call Me. It's Call Me. Like the way she goes up and comes back down and like
I'm pretty sure the
Atomic City does the same thing where it comes up and goes back. Like it's a very. That's the only reason I notice it. Yeah. So I don't know what it's.
But I don't
know what the music sounds.
It doesn't matter if it sounds close enough. Ask Ed Sheeran.
Well, have you seen all this with Ozzy Osbourne?
No.
He put out today 3 times. It's been deleted and reposted 3 times. I don't know why, but Kanye asked him if he could sample War Pigs, a live rendition of War Pigs. I forget from what year. There are no lyrics. It's just the music. And Ozzy told him no. And Kanye sampled it anyways.
Well, you can ask, what's his name? Ice Ice Baby.
Well, I don't know what it sounds like. because it's very dependent. Because Kanye is very famous for sampling other music,
right?
and
With or without permission.
I don't think you need it, depending on how you use it.
I think you always need permission.
I don't think you do.
Because you can't.
I don't think you do. Ice Ice Baby is not a good example because it is literally the exact same thing. He didn't change anything.
No
matter what his MTV interview tells you, he didn't. Have you seen that video? It is hysterical.
But
I only know that.
But look at
video so well because Botchamania does it. Like, if WWE does something very similar to AEW or vice versa, they'll play the AEW clip, and then in between is the clip of Vanilla Ice going like, "This is how this one sounds."
He has an extra,
and this is how this one sounds.
He has an extra beat.
He doesn't have shit. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same.
It's the same.
It is the exact same.
He literally just dropped in like one more.
That's why you lost in court, bro.
But look at like how many times Ed Sheeran has been sued because it doesn't matter if you intended it or not if your music sounds too close.
Well, the weird thing for Ed Sheeran is that he's been sued by the same people multiple times.
Because like your music sounds too close.
It's always the Marvin Gaye estate that is suing him.
Which is so odd. But whatever.
It's been like 2 or 3 times, and this last time he said, like, if I lose, I'm done making music because I'm done with this. Like, this is horse shit. Which it is. It's horse shit. I get something in the sense of Vanilla Ice and Queen. Totally makes sense. You ripped that off.
That's another one.
Blatantly ripped it off. But in terms of like the Ed Sheeran songs and the Marvin Gaye songs, do they sound similar? Sure. But also people.
Right. There's only so many chords.
There's only so many chords in music. And it's whatever year he got sued, 2022, whatever his last lawsuit was. Like, music isn't new.
No. But like now for things like parody songs, you don't need permission.
No, because parody falls under fair use or whatever.
Yeah. But I think if you use somebody's music, it doesn't even matter, like, oh, I changed a few things. I don't think it matters. I think you can use like 17 seconds or like some bizarre.
I have no idea. I just know Kanye has like his whole career has been built off of sampling other artists.
Because I know online,
and like I've never once heard of him being sued for it.
If you wanted to use like a real song in like, if we wanted to put a real song in here for some reason, you can use so many seconds without like.
Now, see, I looked it up because I thought about doing our favorites mix trivia on here. And it says there are varying things that say 10, 15, or 30 seconds. But then it also said, like, this isn't an actual thing. It's more along the lines of, like, 10, 15, or 30 seconds can be used, but it is at the discretion of whoever owns the music.
Oh.
So really, as a blanket, you can use 0. Because depending on who owns the music, they will sue you regardless, and you can't claim like
they wouldn't sue you. You just have to take it down.
Well, depending on who it is, they would sue you. But in terms of like a YouTuber, it's
you can't go from like 0 to sue.
YouTube I guess that's why I said depending on who it is and what the circumstances are, they would sue you. But in terms of like a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever, they'll just either you lose monetization or.
I think it would just get because
or they could cut the audio.
Yeah.
Or it's some weird because I have other YouTube videos that I made when I was in high school or shit like that. That it's like, oh, these aren't available in certain countries, and it always has to do with the music, and it's just a weird thing of like.
It might be because it's not permitted. Those artists aren't being.
I have no idea. It's just strange.
Aren't permitted to be played in those countries.
Then Taylor Swift wins her first award for pop vocal album or whatever it was.
No,
I'm pretty sure it was pop vocal album because Miley won pop vocal performance, and then she wins pop vocal album or record or whatever. And
as opposed to pop what?
That's her. I have no idea.
Like an instrumental.
That's when she enters her cult leader era of just like, I want to thank my fan. Like, I want to thank the Academy for voting this way, but I know you really only voted this way because of the dedication and the passion of my fans.
I don't think the Academy gives a shit about your fans.
They don't. And then it was the whole, to thank my fans, I'm going to tell you a secret I've been keeping for 2 years. My new album drops February, whatever fucking date, and then just walks off the stage. It's like, good Lord, the ego on you is outstanding.
It's because she can't exhale without people being
Like,
it's a clue.
by no means is this a podcast of just like bashing Taylor Swift. I don't care. Like, I don't like you. I don't hate you. I'm not someone on the internet who is like vehemently against all things Taylor Swift. Do I listen to her music? No. Do I really give a shit about you? No. Do I understand any semblance of your style of fame? Absolutely not.
No,
Because you have a level of fame of like Elvis Presley and the Beatles. And it's like, why?
Well, but I think it's the same thing.
And I wrote that
they
in my notes.
She just happened to, because like, I'm not saying the Beatles aren't great, because they are, but like they got so big because like they just right place, right time.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's.
So I think that's what happened with her.
I just don't get it.
She hit the right button at the right time, and she just exploded.
I just don't get it.
I don't know what song or whatever did it. I don't know.
But I wrote it in my notes app. I forget in what folder I put it in, but I put it in like, I'm very curious of, and I'd have to find, I mean, there's definitely people still alive that you could ask of like, was it this, like when the Beatles were in their heyday, when Elvis was in his heyday, was there also a percentage of the world that was like, I'm done with this?
Yeah.
Like, stop it. No one cares.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was, though.
My mom.
That's different.
I know, but
like
when Elvis came out, like there was a lot of people who were on the other end where it was like, no, absolutely not.
Well, no, the opposition to Elvis was not. I'm not speaking in terms of like
people didn't like them.
People didn't like it. Like it was because that was very religious based, and like it was very like he was very uncouth and he was very wild. So his was a different kind, and I think it was kind of the same thing with the Beatles. Like it's a very, the people who didn't like them.
I think then.
Well, they were less sexual, but John Lennon also said the Beatles were bigger than Jesus. So like
later on,
and they were like super into drugs. So like
yeah, everyone was.
They were a different. Their people not liking the two of them was very different than people who don't like Taylor Swift. So my point is like not the people who are super religious that didn't like Elvis, just the people who are in the middle of like, I don't really listen to your music, but I don't hate you as a person. Was there people like that sitting at home like, I'm so tired of this man being on TV all the time?
I don't know, because I don't think that even he was like this.
No. I think that is a big issue with her, is that we live in a world of infinite and constant screens.
Well,
and for some reason, and I wrote this in my notes of like, I get why the NFL gets so much shit, because they are a football organization and she really has nothing to do with it other than she's dating one of their players. But like everywhere else that she goes does the exact same thing.
Well, because they're all just trying to cash in on her.
But even before the NFL, is my point. Like the Golden Globes, granted this year she was nominated, but like if I kept cutting to her,
she's always the one that's like,
every time we're at the VMAs, they cut to her. Emmys, they cut to her. Wherever, like
she's
any
dancing.
award
she's
show
the
she's
only
at,
one showing like any interest in what's happening.
But even if she's not, like my point is, for some reason, the camera has always been on her, and I don't understand it. I've never understood it. Even long before she had like the level of fame she has, when she was still a country singer, the camera was always on her, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Everyone was just like, I know this girl's gonna do something. I know it. She's gonna.
Yeah, Toby Keith did, and she hasn't said shit about the fact that he's dead.
Of course she didn't.
Because she's not a country singer anymore.
Because she doesn't give a shit about anyone.
Because her fans don't know who Toby Keith is.
Probably. Well, some of them probably do, because I'm sure she still has some.
But we'll come back to her later.
No thanks.
We will, because she wins another award. And my next note is actually also about her. This was a weird thing of like, I'll give you that maybe with her fan up, she wasn't talking shit on Miley Cyrus. This was definitely her throwing shade at Miley Cyrus. So Miley wins that award, does her performance. In the midst of her performance, she is super excited that she just won her first Grammy. Taylor wins her first award of the night and gets up, and the first thing she says in her speech is like, I don't know if anybody knew this, but this is my 13th Grammy Award. And it's like, why did you bring that up? Would you have brought that up if Miley Cyrus didn't point out that it was her first Grammy? No, she would not have. Because 13 is a... Oh, no. She brings it up because 13 is my lucky number. I don't know if anybody knew that.
I was going to say.
First of all, everyone watching that's watching for you knows that it's your lucky number. Because you are the leader of a fucking cult. Like, the amount of people... Like, every post online, if her name is even mentioned, the article's not about her. If someone just whispers it for no reason, immediately, how dare you talk shit on Taylor Swift? And it's like, no one's doing that. Joe Coy at the Golden Globes. How dare you? That joke was about the NFL. At no point did he make a joke directed at Taylor Swift. Like, was she involved in it? Sure, but it was a joke
she's got
directed.
PR team.
But it's not her PR team.
Yeah,
it's her fans.
Yeah. She doesn't even need a PR team. She just lets her fans handle it.
Yeah, you don't need a PR team when you have a cult. Charles Manson didn't need a PR team.
Well, he kind of did afterwards.
I was blown away to learn that For Once in My Life was not a Stevie Wonder original. I did not know that was a Tony Bennett song. But you were also very flabbergasted at the fact that I've probably never heard a Tony Bennett song in my life.
And I feel like you just didn't even know who he was.
I knew who he was. I'm very aware of who Tony Bennett is. I just don't let I ever listen to his music. Because we didn't listen to his music growing up.
Yeah, but I feel like it's been used.
I don't know.
Like, I don't even know what he sounds like. I'm like, you definitely do.
I don't know. Because the only reason I listen to like Sinatra and Dean Martin stuff like that is because they are heavily used in movies and TV shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like his songs probably are too.
I feel like they're not. There's a lot of shit I listen to that I come across as a child or as an adult even still that's in a movie, it's in a TV show or whatever. And I've never once, if it was when I was a kid, it would probably still be in my catalog today. So, I don't know. Moving further into the in memoriam, the next song we do is The Best Is Yet to Come, which I feel like is a very odd choice. I have to look up Paul F. Tompkins' thing because it was so funny. But I feel a very odd choice for an in memoriam song.
They wanted to do something.
Because, like, is the best yet to come?
It was supposed to be hopeful, I guess. I don't know.
Why don't you just give me his account? Why fucking Threads?
I don't know why you still use that.
The choice to score the Grammys death montage to The Best Is Yet to Come is a truly demented move, and I encourage more award shows to do stuff like this. Like, it really is, because and tons of people, that's where some guy commented on it and said, like, is the best really yet to come? Who was next? Oh, and they just do like just someone taking their trash out. That's Kevin.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because it definitely sounds like our porch.
It sounded more like Kevin's porch to me.
It sounds like there's an animal on the porch. Oh, now I hear their door.
Yeah, their door just closed.
It definitely sounded like an animal.
They probably had something in the car or something they were bringing in. Then they do like I think it was instrumental or something. I forget what the next thing is. And then
Sinead O'Connor.
Was she next or was John? Yeah, John Baptiste was last, or I guess second to last. Sinead O'Connor's tribute / Prince tribute by Annie Lennox was fantastic. And then John Baptiste, like this was It's an odd
Do
thing.
they always do that many songs?
I don't know. I don't
It
know
just
what they're.
seems
I
like-
don't know off the top of my head
I mean,
what
not to
their
say
in
like,
memoriams.
you shouldn't. Like, I get it. You're like you had that many people to honor. It just seemed like it went on for like a really long time.
I don't know what their in memoriam usually looks like.
Because I know, like at the Oscars, it's just like one song and they just show everyone's pictures. So I don't know if because it's the Grammys and they're doing music, like did they do?
I think the Grammys probably do it
with
bigger because
to play
it's
more
music.
music. Yeah, I didn't know if like
that's the focus of the whole show is music.
I was just like, oh, this is a long part.
But I wrote in my notes like, and it's a weird thing to say, but I wrote that it was an in memoriam for the ages because it was a fantastic. Because Stevie Wonder was great, Annie Lennox was great, John Baptiste was great. Oh, and you capped it all off with Fantasia and her tribute to Tina Turner. And I think it was Entertainment Weekly or somebody had up. The Grammys have finally learned what the BET Awards have known for years. If you need someone to do a musical tribute to someone, you hire Fantasia Barrina.
She's good.
She was very good. I mean, she's always been very good.
Mm-hmm.
And God, she had thick legs. Like,
yeah,
those videos of people like smashing watermelons and shit like that, I immediately thought like that's them. She could definitely do that.
I'm pretty sure that like
because like her legs were jacked.
I think she did. Like,
I have no idea. She may have.
I don't. For some reason, I just remember videos of her like not turning her life around, but like on some sort of like health style journey where like she did like she legitimately did get.
But she was fantastic. I don't know what happened then because I jumped to Billy Joel's performance and I feel like that was not next.
I don't remember.
But amazing as always. It's Billy Joel. I mean, there's not really anything to say about Billy Joel. It was good. It was good. I like his new song. I don't know if we've talked about it on here yet because I think it came out before last episode. I wasn't so, which is weird because Billy Joel is my favorite artist. I wasn't sold on it upon first listen.
I mean, it's touch.
But I think why,
like anything.
I think why is when I had it on Apple Music, I had the lyrics up at the same time. So I think the issue the first time I listened to it was I wasn't really like listening to
you were
it.
reading it.
Well, I was doing both. It was also playing at the same time. But then when I played it for you, and I was just hearing it, I'm like, oh, I do that song a lot.
Like, obviously, you could like look up the lyrics, but like you don't use closed captions.
Well, one of them was I'm gonna look it up now because there was a word in there that I saw it. I cannot recall hearing it in the song at all, even when I've heard it.
It's probably one of those weird ones where it doesn't fully say it.
But then, like seeing it written, I'm like, that's a long ass word. I feel like would stand out.
You probably cut out a whole bunch of
heavily. Where the hell is it? Turn the lights back on. It's towards the end, I think. Indifference. It's been a long winter of indifference.
It probably is. That whole phrase is probably. We can't play it.
Yeah.
How did you miss that? He fully says.
Yeah, but it when you're reading it on Apple Music, it comes up like it's been a long winter of indifference. So when you're reading it, the word indifference is by itself. So in your mind, it's not flowing because he flowed that in with like the rest of the words.
You can't use the.
No, I'm not saying you can. I didn't intend to. That's what I did.
Doesn't work like
because it was his first song in 30 years. And I know that because his last album came out the year I was born.
Well, it's 31.
Very close to 31. I don't know when his last album officially came out.
Oh, yeah, because it could be.
What the hell was that called? River of Dreams? Is that the name of the album?
I have no idea.
Why am I on Apple Music still?
It would have told you.
No, what it was told you the year. I won't tell you the exact release date. River of Dreams. Is that the name of the album?
I don't know.
It was. I'm asking myself. I'm not asking you. August 10th, 1993.
Oh, he's got a while.
Before it's 31. I liked how before, this was my other gripe with, I enjoyed them, but my other gripe with Trevor Noah was like, we're taking too long. We can't have the show going over. Like before Miley performed, it was a video package. Before Luke Combs performed, it was a video package. Like before every performance was a video package of like.
Well, not everyone.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Before Luke Combs, before Miley, before SZA, before Travis Scott, before Billy Joel. If you performed outside of the In Memoriam, if you performed, you had a video package beforehand, like why you got into music and why you love music and what the Grammys mean to you and like this whole thing. And it's like, I enjoyed them, but at the same time, this is why your show goes so fucking long.
Yeah.
Just do the performances. I think it's the same thing at the Oscars. You have 10 movies nominated for Best Picture. Why do they need to come out sporadically and go, here's the movie that we made. It's about this. Now we're going to play a clip.
Yeah.
Like, just do it all at the end.
But at the Oscars, they do like a huge, like they read like the full synopsis and they like, it's a whole big to do.
Yeah, but it's the same thing essentially.
But it's just, it's.
Because the Grammys are, here's a video package of like why I'm into music and then a performance. The Oscars are, here's 4 people from the movie. Here's the plot of the movie.
I think it's like the
here's like whatever our
preview.
Here's whatever our 2 cents are. And then here's the clip that they play. And it's like, you could cut all of this and then just do at the end. The nominees for Best Picture are, like, I don't get it. Do this shit on the pre-show. Don't like.
Or like, I guess it's because they're trying to honor movies.
I get it, but.
It's a bit much. The Oscars go way too.
They always do. All the award shows do.
The Grammys didn't seem like they were that long.
The Grammys were 2.5 hours. I don't know how long they went over. Because we don't. It's different when you're watching it on TV versus on streaming.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long they went over. Because I came in when they were live. I came in late. And then when we watched it again, it was like the recording, technically. It was whatever you would call, I don't know what you call it when it's streamed like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I did like Billy Joel's whole thing of like, why'd you stop writing music? Because I didn't want to anymore. It wasn't fun for me. I got into this because it was fun. And rock and roll was fun. And like, it became me writing by myself, which I never wanted to do. It felt very isolating.
I need a tissue. Pardon me. There aren't any down here. Of this.
Get a napkin.
Out of control.
So after what? After because you have a mic on. Oh, that's right. You left it on the table.
I don't want to blow my nose right into a microphone.
Well, only the YouTube audience would have heard it.
It was just
if you did.
It was just getting out of control. It was gonna make me sneeze.
After Billy Joel's performance, you get the surprise appearance from Celine Dion, which I was not aware was even a thing.
Well, why would you have if it's?
Well, no, I meant like I wasn't aware there was like a surprise guest until like right before the commercial break. Before that,
well,
they said like coming up next, Billy Joel, and the award for album of the year. I forget what they said, but like the picture of who it was blurred out.
I don't know. Like it was. I guess she was a surprise guest, but she was just as a presenter.
Yes, but I think it was genuinely no one knew she was going to be there.
Because I wonder if they weren't sure if she could be there, so they didn't want to have her.
It could be.
Because she's been having like health problems, so maybe then if she couldn't do it, they could have another
it could be.
You know, they had some backups.
And I didn't really write it in here, but not to go back a little bit. I also love Joni Mitchell's performance. Yeah. And that was the first time I heard that song. is now added to my playlist.
That made me.
Yeah, you were also blown away by that, and like we didn't listen to Joni Mitchell.
It's been used in movies. It was used in Love Actually. So don't tell me you haven't heard that song before.
I don't remember shit from Love Actually, other than Christmas is all around you. And the note cards. Do I know what the note cards say? No, I just know that scene happens. And the two people that are the porn. Tell them it's carol singers.
No, carol singers. I'm like, it's not carolers.
And then the whole like porn stand-ins or whatever their job title actually is.
And Alan, what's his name?
Alan Rickman. I know who's in it. Because it's Alan Rickman, Emma Thompson.
Cheats on Emma Thompson.
Andrew Lincoln.
She thinks she's getting a necklace, and what does she get? A Joni Mitchell CD.
Rick Grimes, Keira Knightley.
Okay, I don't need you to recite the cast. I've seen it clearly.
That guy whose name I will not even ever attempt to pronounce, who's in Doctor Strange. Keira Knightley's husband.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very weird name. I mean, weird to an American audience.
Well, and it's probably not pronounced how it looks.
I think his first name is like Chiwetel, but then I don't know how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
And
it probably has
it's like all
syllables.
All consonants.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of syllables, all consonants.
Yeah. And it's not even close. Like, no. Well, your guess is going to be wrong.
But I did enjoy it. And as shocked as you were, I never heard that song before. And the
song was Both Sides Now, in case anyone's wondering.
Yeah, if you didn't watch the Grammys, the song was Both Sides Now. And then they gave her honorary Grammy, and I feel like if she was younger, she would have told them to fuck off.
Like, she doesn't want this.
The first time she's ever performed at the Grammys, after they listed off, like...
She learned to walk 3 times.
She's had every surgery you could ever have. She's been clinically dead 4 times. Like, just this long list of, like, holy shit, lady, how are you still alive?
She had polio.
I mean, thank God, but, like, goodness gracious.
What did they say, 83?
Yeah. And then she performed at the Grammys for the first time ever.
In, like, a...
And then Trevor Noah gives her a fucking Grammy Award for no reason other than, like...
She was in some sort of, like, rotating chair. I don't think it was a wheelchair.
Well, no, the chair was a chair. The stage rotated.
But no, just her little part. She was facing backwards.
Yeah, she was just in a regular chair.
Oh, I thought she was in, like...
No, it was just like a throne chair.
Yeah. And she had, like, a cane. Her big old cane.
It wasn't like a motorized wheelchair.
No, I didn't think it was. But it was definitely like it wasn't just like a seat like this.
She learned to walk 3 times.
She doesn't, but she learned.
But I liked it. And what was funny is I was going to get into Joni Mitchell because of the fact, like I told you, that the cast of How Did This Get Made is super into Joni Mitchell.
It's sad that you never knew any of her songs.
We didn't listen to Joni Mitchell growing up. I don't know.
You can't blame everything on, I didn't listen to them growing up.
I can.
You're an adult now. You can listen to music, whatever you
want. But
want.
I'm not going to seek out, like, she's not at all outside of hearing them talk about it on How Did This Get Made. She is not coming into my, like, worldview in any way, shape, or form.
She has had to have come into your, like...
I don't know.
Well, your favorites mix is supposed to give you new music, too.
Barely.
It's supposed... I thought the whole point of it was, like, here's music that you... Oops, sorry about that. Music that you like. And
you could have hung it on your sweatshirt.
Well, last time I felt like it was swinging. And, like, here's music you should like based on...
I don't know.
Or if you ever listen to your station, it would come in there, I bet.
Yeah.
Because she would fit right into...
I'm really mad now I downloaded Spotify, speaking of favorites. I downloaded Spotify for podcasts now. I don't like... Well, I didn't know what else to get. I was going to get Stitcher, but Stitcher's not an app. No. Then I have to sign into your mom's thing. I don't feel like doing that. Spotify is fine. I don't like that unless you have premium, you can't do, like, play next.
For music? Of course not.
No, for podcasts.
What?
I'm still using Apple Music for music.
Of course.
And, like, on Apple Music, if I'm playing whatever song, but, like, I want to play this next, you just hit the 3 little dots and hit play next. On Google Podcasts, it was this, and then you just hit the little plus and it added it to your queue. On Spotify, you can add it to a playlist, but unless you have premium, you cannot tell, like, play next.
Oh,
it's fucking dumb.
I've never done that with podcasts.
Dumb.
I've always just listened to one and then
dumb.
picked another one.
It's dumb. Well, I do, but
I didn't even know that was a thing.
well, I was doing it for How Did This Get Made because I was listening to older ones, but then when the new ones would come out, I would listen to those first.
How many podcasts are you listening to at a time?
Well, when one ends, the next one begins.
Yeah, you just go in there and pick one.
I don't want to have to stop what I'm doing to, let me find this and hit play. Well, I can just do add to queue, and then that one's over, and I'm still doing whatever I'm doing, and the next one just starts right
I don't even know what the other options are.
You know what the other options are?
For podcasts.
Pandora, probably. iHeartRadio, Spotify.
I don't think Pandora, unless you pay for it.
I have no idea. Amazon Music, Spotify.
Apple has one, but I think you have to.
Apple Podcasts, but you can only on Apple products. Are you allowed to have Apple Podcasts?
Oh, really?
We can't download. I've tried. We can't download Apple Podcasts.
I mean, it's
weird that you can download Apple Music, but you can't download Apple Podcasts. It's a very strange concept to me. But back to our notes. Celine Dion comes out. Oh yeah, Audible.
Podcast app.
Yeah.
Podcast player. Podcast.
Celine does the award for Album of the Year, given to Taylor Swift. Hard eye roll on that one. I'm not going to harp on it. People can say whatever they want. I saw what I saw. The woman did not even make eye contact with Celine Dion.
People are saying that already.
Well, people are. Well, no, because you have people that are detractors, and you have people that are. I would literally throw myself in front of a bus.
Yeah, but they're just saying she ignored her then. There's no. She did. She walked directly past that woman.
She blew her off blatantly.
But
she's handing her the award. She's got her hands on the award, and at no point does she ever whoosh, even when she's putting her hands on the Grammy to take them from Celine Dion, does she look at her in the eye? No. There's never.
Doesn't she not thank her?
No. She drags Lana Del Rey up on stage, which Lana Del Rey has said, I had a great time that night. I have zero negative experience. I didn't have one negative experience that night. Of course you're going to say that. Because even if you did, why the fuck would you tell people that?
Well, but also she works with Jack Antonoff.
Well, also you're friends with Taylor Swift. So why, even if you had a negative experience, you know how her fans are.
Well, I think
why would you then go out and...
because of...
I have no idea.
Well, maybe not.
But whatever their friendship is, she knows as well as everybody else does how her fans are. So even if you were super embarrassed and kind of pissed about it, why would you then do an interview where you're like, I was really mad about that situation?
Yeah, no.
She drags her up on stage. She completely ignores Celine Dion. And then, like I said, in her speech, thanks to Lana Del Rey, who's up here, I'm so grateful to be your friend or whatever. Without her, a lot of female musicians in the audience wouldn't be here tonight. Correct. But no offense to Lana Del Rey, you get to the same thing for Celine Dion.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. And to your point, I didn't really clock it the first time around because I didn't give a shit. But to your point, the second time I watched it with you, she is clearly drunk.
100%.
Everyone on that stage looks embarrassed for her. Or just embarrassed in general.
She has to be, because every time they show her, she has a glass in her hand.
She has wine in her hand.
And no one else does. So, can you not drink at the Grammys?
Well, I don't.
Just nobody.
They might just have it on the table.
Right.
She's just always got it in her hand, which shame on you. You're warming your wine.
But also just
trash. I don't even drink alcohol, and that is trashy.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is. She's holding the glass wrong. Put it on the table so it doesn't get warm. Unless you're drinking it warm. But
I don't even know. It looked like white wine.
Oh, I thought I saw red at some point.
Well, you do drink red wine warm.
You don't have to.
If you told someone who was a wine drinker that you preferred your red wine...
I'm not a wine drinker.
Yeah, red
I'm not a drinker, period. Warm. Despite the cup that my aunt got for everybody, I'm not a drinker, period.
But no, I'm pretty sure it was white. Red wine. Didn't she have a white dress on? Red wine and a white dress. It sounds like you're asking.
She had a white dress on. I don't remember. I'm not writing notes. I'm not like a detective writing out everything they show her on camera doing.
It seems like it.
I know. The fan was the only thing she was doing in the audience. Everything else was on stage. Well, I really noticed that she was drunk when she's finally done and she turns around to walk off stage. Jack Antonoff says something to her, not like in an aggressive way, but in the way that a drunk woman or a drunk man does to someone. She like shoves him. And the way she shoved him, I was like, oh, you're definitely drunk. Because that was the shove of a drunk person. Like, shut up.
Yeah, Were you like,
stop?
You're a little stronger than you think.
Like,
so like in her mind, she didn't mean to push him. Like that was by no means like an aggressive act.
But it was just.
But your drunk muscles got away from you.
And I'll give you like.
And like whatever.
You want to dance in the audience, you want to sing, fine. But like, get your shit together, girl. You are 30 years old and you were on that stage drunk, acting like a child.
I mean,
for your fourth album of the year, which I wrote in my notes too. You can fuck off. You're going to tell me, Grammys, that Frank Sinatra, Paul Simon, and Stevie Wonder all have 3 album of the year awards, but she has 4?
Does she have more albums than they do?
I have no idea.
Because that's also, she's got like a bajillion
albums. She's got all those albums. Now she's got the Taylor's version albums. And
well, she has to re-release them.
She doesn't have to.
But I think she
That was a choice.
But she can't use those songs.
Yes, it is a financial and legal thing of why she did it. But she didn't have to do that, is my point.
Well, no, she didn't have to, but she would have. No. She would have had to start her music catalog from scratch.
Well, she just wouldn't get the money from her old stuff.
No, I don't think she could even perform them.
Well, she doesn't own any of them. And they told her that you can't own any of them. So then she said, fuck you, I'll just re-record them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when she would go to a concert, she would only be able to play her music from then on.
Okay.
So she didn't re-release those. Well, how many albums was that? 5?
I have no idea.
That's a big catalog. Just like,
how many albums has she had since then?
1?
I don't think so. I have no idea. I'm not even gonna bother to look it up.
I think it's.
I don't give a shit.
I think 1.
I do want to look up.
No, probably 2.
I do want to look up. What was this law? Have you heard about her lawsuit thing with the guy that touched her ass?
No. You claim to not like her, and you know 100 times more than I.
No, I only know of. I only know of this.
I know nothing
because Daniel Tosh came across my TikTok and said, like, I don't listen to her music, but I am a Swiftie for life because of the fact of, like, you can't own your music. And she just said, fuck you, I'll just re-record it and tell everyone only listen to Taylor's version. And then there was a lawsuit where... Yeah, the trial involved David Mueller, a former DJ, filing for defamation against Taylor Swift. He alleged that she had him wrongfully terminated following an incident at a 2013 meet and greet. Swift then countersued him for battery and sexual assault, seeking a symbolic $1 in damages. The trial lasted 1 week. They both appeared in court, and it concluded with the jury ruling in Swift's favor and ordering Mueller to pay her $1. But the thing that really... and
I think there's a picture of it.
And Daniel Tosh jokes about it.
I think I remember that.
In the 2-year lead up to the trial. Jesus Christ.
That's common.
I know it is, but, like, Jesus.
Unless you... exert your right to a speedy trial. Then you have 90 days.
I'm trying to see if it says. So the whole thing that, like, he joked about was the trial is happening. It only happens for a week. But she's flying back and forth to Denver. And he's, like, destroying the did he say the planet? I don't remember what exactly he said. But, like, the essential of, like, you're taking your fucking private jet to fly back and forth for a lawsuit for $1. I get it. I understand why you did it. But, like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need, Taylor Swift, a symbolic lawsuit for $1. Either sue the guy for proper amount of money or don't.
Well, I guess the whole notion
And then your
was,
statement was you're going to donate money to whatever. Well, then sue him for that money and donate the money you win.
well, he was just used as the, like, not a scapegoat, but
Oh, I get it. And the
like
whole
poster
and she
child
was
for.
and she was a high profile celebrity, so it was this whole thing. Like, I understand it.
He
but
went
like
after her, and she was like, "Well, this is what happens when you
she
lie."
he grabbed her ass, is
Yeah.
what she claimed, and then he
No, I
said
think I'm pretty sure there's a picture of it.
no, my point is she said he did it, he said he didn't do it.
No, she accused him and he got fired.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah. And then he said,
And then he sued her, and
For
then she was like,
defamation.
well, I'll fucking sue you for $1.
right. And she's like, good luck because I have proof and you did it. Sorry, scumbag. But
On top of everyone on stage looking embarrassed, I also wrote that everyone in the audience looked very over it by the end.
Yeah.
And I saw someone said in a Facebook comment when someone else pointed that out, I pointed it out somewhere. And someone commented like, well, by the end of the show, because it is 2.5 hours on TV, but they're there however long in advance. And by the end of the show, everyone's so tired and this and that. So it's not really that they're over it. It's just that they're all exhausted. But then when you end the night with a surprise second performance by Billy Joel, everyone's up and dancing and talking. Doesn't look like anyone's fucking super tired and like eager to get the fuck out the door to me.
No, they're all going to like some after party somewhere.
We did not talk about Jay-Z's speech, but I'll just say that it was amazing. If you didn't watch the Grammys, I suggest you look it up. It was one of the best parts of the show.
Not really much to say about it.
Well, I do have one note written down because I thought it was hysterical. There was a comment on one of the posts about it where a guy said that Beyonce, and the big thing is, he basically called out inconsistency in the nomination and awarding process of the Grammys. He also pointed out, in terms of defending his argument and presenting his case, he pointed out that his wife, Beyonce...
But he didn't say that.
He didn't say, he just said, this young lady. I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but how do you have 32 Grammy Awards? More than anyone else in the history of the Grammys.
Yeah, she has the most.
And yet you don't have Album of the Year.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. A guy on Facebook commented, if she doesn't have album, I think he put like alternative logic or something like that. Or alternative view, : if you don't have Album of the Year, you shouldn't have 32 Grammys. To which I replied, you're saying the exact same thing, just opposite.
Right.
To which him and multiple other people replied to me, telling me it's not the same thing. So I wrote in my notes that, like, if you have 32 awards, but you don't have Album of the Year, it doesn't make sense. According to people on Facebook, saying that you don't have Album of the Year, so you shouldn't have 32 awards, is not the same thing.
Well, he's saying if you have 32, you should have...
Yeah, Jay-Z is saying,
Album of the Year.
If you have 32 awards, you should have Album of the Year.
And they're saying she didn't
This doesn't make sense.
She didn't deserve...
This guy is literally saying the exact same statement, just backwards. Just reversed it. Like, Jay-Z's claim is, you have 32, you should have this. It doesn't make sense. This guy's claim is,
if you don't have Album
you
of the
don't
Year,
have this, yet you have 32. This doesn't make sense.
Correct.
You just swapped these two places and then tried to tell me it's not the same logic. It is.
Yeah, it's just he's saying she deserves it and you're saying she doesn't.
It was also...
whatever.
It was also the hilarity to me of, like, tons of people, because I commented on quite a few things about how much I liked it. And a lot of people did not address the entire speech. They only talked about Beyonce. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, of course you're doing it, because that's what's going to get you the most traction. But people aren't acknowledging that, like, a big part of his speech was, I was nominated in 1998. The same year I was nominated for Rap Album of the Year or whatever, DMX released 2 albums that went platinum.
And he wasn't nominated.
Or 2 number 1 albums or whatever it was, whatever he said. And he wasn't nominated at all. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right. Like, what criteria are you using?
Yeah.
Because at least one of those should have been in there.
It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, tons of people. And I'm like, it was one of those things of like, I get it. You don't like Beyonce, or you don't like Jay-Z, or you don't like rap. whatever. But like, don't let that dumb bullshit cloud your sense of judgment to know like this is a correct speech.
He was saying,
and tons of people like kept bringing up Kanye, and I'm like, people will tell you that he has not been like associated with Kanye West in years.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because he did the thing at the VMAs and it was all about Beyonce. But I'm saying that's why people, and him and Jay-Z were good friends at one point in time. Because it was the same thing. His speech happens how long before Taylor Swift gets Album of the Year? And yet everyone's like, his speech really took away. He should be ashamed of himself because it really took away from Taylor winning Album of the Year. And
why?
It's like, how? He didn't name her.
Was Beyonce...
No, she was not nominated.
He just said that some people will win that shouldn't.
Well, and I didn't take... So that's the other thing.
So, like,
he's
if
talking
you
about,
assume he's talking about Taylor Swift, it's because you assume she's...
He's talking about Album of the Year with Beyonce. He then says, some of you will go home disappointed tonight. Or some of you may get robbed tonight. Some of you will get robbed tonight. And I think there's something else in there. And then his last line is like, and some of you don't belong in the category at all.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of like, you hear laughs, you hear like, oh, like.
Yeah.
But people immediately assumed like, oh, he's only talking about Album of the Year and he must be talking about Taylor Swift. And I'm like, first of all, I took that as like the Grammys as a whole.
Yeah.
Because like some of you will go home, some of you will get robbed tonight is not like I'm only talking about this one category. No. I took that as like I'm talking about everyone in this room. You're all nominated for something.
Yeah.
And the majority of you will not win.
Right. And like his speech does talk heavily about how like they haven't gotten it right in terms of like rap, but I don't think he ever explicitly says it's only.
No, he is clearly referring heavily to hip hop at the Grammys.
Because those are the but nominations he is not, he's familiar with.
Yeah.
Like he was
but he's also not
his own experience.
He's also not pigeonholing like I'm only talking about this.
No. Because he starts off
because in reality, yes. And I don't know how it's in my lifetime of watching the Grammys. Are they treated, is hip hop treated greatly? No. But country is treated worse. There was one country singer, and it was a cover of a song that's technically like a R&B. I don't know what you would call Tracy Chapman's song. I don't know what genre it would be.
I think
folk? Pop?
I think a little bit. Maybe country.
I don't think so. I think it's R&B, if anything.
I don't know what.
But, like...
Well, and just pop in general, like...
And then you gave one award to Lainey Wilson. You had one country award.
Is it?
So, like, I get it. They have, like, the CMAs and the CMT awards and the ACMs and the... I think there's, like, a People's Choice Country Awards now. Like, I get there's a whole bunch of other stuff for country music. But in terms of the Grammys, and it's not me trying to say, like, hip-hop doesn't deserve it. Hip-hop does deserve it. The Grammys need to branch out from just focusing on pop.
But, like, it's not even, like, pop music, though.
What do you mean?
The Grammys don't... I don't know what they focus on.
They focus heavily on pop. Heavily on pop. All their awards are basically pop music awards. Well, they give one to country. They give, like, one or two to, like, hip-hop and R&B.
But not much to rock.
Not really anything to rock. And if they do... And the other... His other complaint was like why Will Smith, fuck him, and DJ Jazzy Jeff boycotted in '89 was because the award they were nominated for was relegated before they went on TV. Mm-hmm. So it's also the claim of like, why don't you do this shit on TV?
They do now, I think.
I don't think they do.
Well, and like, there's a lot of other like heavy metal or even metal in general is not. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of genres.
Boy Genius, I think, won like best rock album. That was before they went on TV. There's very few rock performances ever at the Grammys.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't know.
Because I think rock is probably one of like the biggest.
But it was just hilarious to me, the logic people were throwing at me about why it wasn't a great speech. He just needs to get his award and sit down. Be humble. I'm like, lady. I can tell from your profile, the way your profile picture, you are a Swiftie. That woman is the least humble woman at the Grammy Awards.
Yeah. She pretends like she is, but
And it's also a weird thing of like Miley said in her second speech, something along the lines of like the award not mattering. And I saw articles about like, here's what she actually meant. And it was the idea of like, how dare she? And I'm like, what do you mean how dare she? The award doesn't matter.
yeah.
Like, it was the same thing. Drake, who has boycotted the Grammys multiple times and for multiple years, said like he was talking specifically about rap and hip hop, that those awards don't mean shit in our world. And I commented on the one thing and said, like, these awards mean shit in any world. Like,
Yeah.
nobody cares.
No, unless you're on MTV Cribs.
And literally, I post that Simpsons picture. I posted it last year. I posted it this year. Like, all the award shows are kind of a joke, but like the Grammys is the butt of the joke. The award show people make fun of the most is the Grammy Awards.
Poor Grammys.
But that's all we have for the Grammy recap. And then my last two notes. I saw a very hilarious article on Facebook that was apparently a new Lifetime movie has a sex scene in it.
Okay.
And the article was Lifetime has now added a sex scene to their latest movie. Will Hallmark follow their lead? And I'm like, what? In what world? I mean, I don't watch the Hallmark movies, but like most of them are Christmas movies. In what world do you need
most of Christmas movies? They have tons.
Hallmark has gone all in on Christmas for the past however many years. I don't think they make other movies anymore
They
besides
definitely
Christmas
do.
movies. I don't think they do.
It's the same formula.
I don't think they do anymore.
Small town girl or small town
Living in
boy
a lonely
goes
world.
to the city. Then, for some reason, some catastrophe happens. They have to move home. A high school flame, a lonely stranger, whatever. They fall in love. Now they stay in their small town.
She doesn't believe in Christmas. He works for Santa Claus.
He is Santa Claus.
He is Santa Claus. He's an elf. He's a
weird wine.
He's a weird nutcracker turned into a real person.
I think that's on Netflix.
That's on like Hallmark. I'm pretty sure
Christmas pairing or something.
They did it on
bad.
How Did This Get Made?
The wine one?
No, the nutcracker one that I was talking about.
Oh, no thanks.
But yeah, I was just like, in what world?
I mean, probably.
But why? Because Lifetime is also like.
But I want to know.
Lifetime gets grittier than Hallmark does. Like Hallmark's not going.
No, Lifetime's always like the wife killed the husband killed the wife,
or like the baby's dead. Like Hallmark, Lifetime can get dark.
Abuse. There's a lot of
abuse, like that Will Ferrell movie. But then, like Hallmark's not doing that. Hallmark's doing like rom-coms.
And so if they add, if Hallmark was like, you know what, we're gonna go a little edgy and add a sex scene, now you're just porn.
But also, like, what?
Like, your plot is so thin.
I also don't know, like, in
sex,
what?
It's just a porn.
I also don't know, like, in what context did I didn't see it.
I need to know what the Lifetime movie is.
So that's my point, because they talk about it a lot on How Did This Get Made when they do the Hallmark movies, where they're like, there is zero sexual tension in this entire movie. Like, not a single, like, I'm pretty sure they've said, like, not a single person in this movie fucks. Like, there's nothing happening.
No.
So it's a weird thing of, like, did Lifetime just go, like, you show two people making out and, like, they go into a bedroom and that's the end of it? Did you, like, get further to, like, they're in the bed? Like, how far did you take this sex scene before you fade to, like, the next morning and they're both laying in bed together?
What is the plot of the movie? Because that matters.
Let's see if I can find it.
Is it, like... Does the sex scene... Is it showing, like... two people who are in love?
Oh, it's in a Christmas movie.
Oh, Lord. No.
Lifetime exec reacts to network's first sex scene in a Christmas movie. There's an audience hungry for grown-up romance.
No, we're not. We're not. No audience is asking for sex in a Christmas movie.
Also, he chose his words carefully, because there is a big difference between a grown-up romance and an adult romance. So he chose his words carefully. And adult romance is on Cinemax.
I mean, that's what they're making here. No one, not one person.
This season's
this.
It's a Wonderful Lifetime slate of 12 new movies includes
No.
a cowboy Christmas
No.
romance.
No.
A holiday movie that features the franchise's first sex scene.
Between two men?
We think that there's an audience out there that's hungry for grown-up romance, and we're looking forward to adding some smolder to the usual holiday sugar and spice. Oh, it's a woman.
No one. No one.
SVP of Scripted Content at Lifetime exclusively tells Variety. We love trying new things, and we're excited about this new first for us for a holiday movie.
No.
The movie starring Jana Kramer and Adam...
Oh, Christ.
Who is that?
She had a couple, like, maybe country songs. She was on One Tree Hill.
Her name does sound familiar.
She has that song where, like, should have just called him whiskey. And
I don't know that song.
I got the boy, you got the man, where she's, like, singing to her boyfriend's new
I did hear that
fiance.
one on the radio.
Yeah.
And Adam Senn, S-E-N-N, and debuting on December 9th, follows a real estate agent who returns home to Arizona.
Oh my God, does it follow my formula?
To reclaim land belonging to a rancher. Not only do sparks fly, but she also gets a chance to reconnect with her family. All the fixings for the perfect Christmas movie. Kramer teased the scene during the latest episode of iHeartRadio's Wind Down podcast with Sarah Drew, who wrote the movie as her guest. Spoiler alert, he lays me down on some hay, and then Kramer said during Monday's episode. Obviously, it's still Lifetime. It's still family. But it was pushing the limits there, too. They didn't cut anything. I was so happy that they really left it all in there.
Well, we're watching this.
Drew was happy with how the sex scene came out, thanking Maggiani and explaining that she wrote another sexy scene that also stayed in. It all came out so beautifully, but especially the scene in the kitchen.
Oh, God.
I had written into the stage directions. He pulls her up onto the counter. He shoves things off the table. The Grey's Anatomy alum explained. I put it all in there, so I was like, don't take the steam and the sex away from me. I wrote it on purpose. I want it in there.
All right.
Kramer has now starred in 8 Lifetime movies, said a cowboy Christmas romance. Is unlike any other that she's done. We barely mentioned the word Christmas. There's no gingerbread bake-off. There's no festival. That town that's going to hell and you got to save it, she said. The only thing was, like, my character coming back and seeing Adam or his character, those cozy feelings happen. But it's all mixed up with real family stuff and identity stuff and relationship stuff.
Cool. Well, I'm going to be watching that. Sounds great.
I want to see if I could find... Yeah, Entertainment Weekly. Stuff Stewart Stop. Oh, God, Entertainment Weekly. I'm trying to see if I could find the one that's like, will Hallmark follow in their footsteps?
I mean, if that's what they're doing, 100%. Blah,
blah, blah. This is all the stuff
I have a feeling that this sex scene is not really like, it's leaving a lot implied.
I'm sure it is like, it's like the movies that do that kind of thing, where it's...
They like cut away and then cut back.
Yeah. Where like you show like the whole lead up.
Yeah, so
the camera like pans over here, and then you come back and it's like the next morning or whatever, and they're laying in bed, or I guess they're laying on a hay bale. I don't fucking know what's happening in this movie, but they're in the kitchen. I have no idea. But I thought that was fun. I wanted to bring that up to you.
I'm gonna watch it for sure.
My last thing to talk about is I was home from work yesterday. I ate the meatballs, still hungry. I went to Wendy's. I downloaded the app. I figured we go to Wendy's enough, I might as well just fucking download this app too. Ordered online through the app. I ordered a classic chicken sandwich meal and a 10-piece nugget meal. I get there.
You ordered 2 full meals?
Yes. Don't judge me on this podcast.
That's a lot of food.
Anyways. I really hesitated on sharing that information on the show with you, and you've made me regret it.
It's a lot.
You're not helping. I get there. I sat there for a minute or two because there is a thing that has it's a shelf. It says mobile orders on the big side panel. I sat there for a minute or two, and then I look. There's a sign above it that was printed in a printer, thrown in a sheet of laminating paper, just hung on the wall. This shelf is for Uber Eats, DoorDash, blah, 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 only. Mobile orders are available at the counter. So I go to the counter, picking up a mobile order for Brian. Here you go. I leave. I get home. I looked in the bag. There's a sandwich. There's the fries. There's the nuggets. There's the fries. I get home, open the bag, open my chicken sandwich. The bun has like shit on the top of it. There's like these weird... They're not Fritos. What are like the curly ones? It's like a straight piece, but they're kind of curled.
Takis?
No. It's like a flat rectangle, but then they have like a curl to them. It's not Fritos.
I don't know. Corn chips?
There's some sort of corn chips. That's in there. I'm like, what the fuck is this chicken sandwich? I bit into it. It was good. I didn't eat it. Because my mouth was hot. And not hot like this is too spicy. Like my whole mouth was just hot. So I didn't eat it. I looked on their menu. They gave me the limited time only loaded nacho chicken sandwich.
Ew.
Spicy corn and tortilla strips, lettuce, tomato, poblano queso, spicy chipotle sauce, American cheese slice, classic chicken breast, jalapeno cheddar bun.
Ew. That sounds disgusting.
I was so disappointed and so mad because I wanted that chicken sandwich. But at that point, I wasn't driving the fuck back to Wendy's.
I would have said something on the app like,
I did.
Give me their own sandwich. Maybe they'll give you
because you could give feedback on your order, and I put like,
yeah.
And one of the things is like, why were you not satisfied? It has a whole list of them, and one of them is received the wrong item. Clicked it. In your most detailed explanation.
Well, and like that's
tell us why you had a bad experience. And
you
I'm
wouldn't
like,
have realized that because you look in your bag like,
yeah,
sandwich.
I have to open the fucking chicken sandwich now. Like,
well, and the whole point is like I'm taking this home to eat it.
Yeah.
I don't want my sandwich like open and getting cold till I get home. You just kind of figure like, okay, it's all in there.
But yeah, I'm like, what the fuck, Wendy's? First time I use your mobile order shit, and you fucked it up. Oh boy. I don't know what happened there. That was unfortunate.
They're probably too full.
I don't know. That was weird. I've never had that happen before. But that's all I have for this week. I assumed, and it did, the Grammys would fill our time. Follow us on social media. Rate and review. Like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Trying to think if we have anything coming up that's going to be pertinent to the show. Not really. Those of you watching on YouTube, not... Oh, I guess it will be next episode. I may or may not look a little different than I look right now. I get my haircut on Thursday.
It'll be bald.
But I don't know. That's for me to know and for you and all of you watching at home to find out.
That's my guess.
But yeah, so thank you for joining us once again. We will see and talk to you guys next week. We love you, and as always, thank you for being a friend.